The Chair, now I recognize myself for 5 minutes. And Deputy Director Nedd, I've been trying to find someone in the administration that can answer a very basic question about the revenue projections for the Arctic Refuge lease sale, which this administration is rushing to get out the door this year by all accounts. I had Assistant Secretary Combs before the full committee last week, and I asked her about the projections on revenue from that lease sale. She was completely unable to answer the basis for this $1 billion revenue projection, and she suggested that I talk to BLM because they're in the business of oil and gas leasing. And so I think today might be my lucky day. I've got the Deputy Director of Operations from BLM before me. So let's dig in on this pretty straightforward question. As you know, in the Republican tax law, and also in this year's budget from the administration, there is a projection of $1 billion of revenue from that Arctic Refuge lease sale, correct?
That is my understanding.
Okay, what's the basis for that projection?
Congressman, I did not write the tax bill, so I have no idea. I cannot give you the details of how they got to that bill.
All right, how about the budget then? Because you're the Deputy Director of Operations at BLM. Presumably you know something about how this $1 billion of revenue projected from this lease sale came to be in your budget.
Again, Congressman, the bill projected that the BLM would offer about approximately 400,000 acres of land for leasing, and based on that projection, it is my understanding that through the CBO and other office, a projection was made.
So they're only going to offer 400,000 acres, and they're assuming $1 billion. That's remarkable, because if you offered the entire 1.5 million acres of the coastal plain, you'd have to get $678 per acre from that lease sale in order to get to $1 billion. If you did only 400,000 acres, you'd have to get a lot more than that. Do you think that's a reasonable number to assume from this lease sale? You're in the business, by the way, of oil and gas leasing, so I think you're the right guy to ask this question.
Again, Congressman, if we was to look at the lease sale that has been happening in the NPRA for similarities, we've had lease sale that is well out over $900 per an acre. So there is...
When was that? Because since 1999, the average per acre price has been about $32 per acre in the neighboring National Petroleum Reserve. When was this north of $900 per acre lease sale?
So again, Congressman, we can get you an exact number, but...
Well, you're right here. Just give me when was it? You just threw this out, so you must have some knowledge about it.
Again, Congressman, we know we've had sale where an acre is sold for at least $900, but again...
Well, that was not since at least 1999. The trend has been downward. In fact, the most recent lease sale was $11 per acre. And you're talking about projecting many times more than that for the Arctic Refuge, where we have no data, where we have no infrastructure. Do you think that's reasonable?
Again, I will stick by what the tax bill and what the budget has said, and that is a projection, Congressman.
All right, and by the way, that projection was before the global oil market tanked this week. And it was before most of our country's major lenders started declaring that they won't go anywhere near financing drilling in the Arctic. And that was before BP walked away from Alaska. Do you really think that assuming this sky-high revenue projection from a lease sale where we have no data about what's even in the ground there is reasonable, especially given your position of trust on behalf of the American taxpayers to make sure we're not giving away public resources?
Again, Congressman, in my 28 years, I've seen the oil market go up and down, and so again, the projection is there and the oil market tends to bounce back.